Hello. Happy Sunday. I mean, it's gorgeous outside in New York right now and loud. It's gorgeous, but we still have Dorona wreaking havoc and making everyone's life miserable. But you know what? I'm still here. I'm still here, here, here. So, yes, welcome to Tall Order, uh, or AKA Chris putting his business in the streets. This episode is dedicated to my love of New York. I had someone in my Instagram live. They asked me, Chris, how did you move to New York? Tell us the story. I mean, and when I thought about it, actually, everyone has their moving to New York story because it ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. So before I get into that, I always put the cocktail ingredients first to have for the next episode of Convos and Concoctions. For this one, I'm gonna make a lychee martini. And if you know me, you know that I fucking love a lychee martini. So the ingredients that you need vodka, lychee juice, lychee liqueur, or triple sec, and some simple. And that's it. So I can't wait to make that. That video will be up on Tuesday. When did I fall in love with New York? So I went to New York on spring break when I was 19 in 2004. Yes, I'm a little old. I'm a little seasoned. And I went there with one of my dear best friends. Yeah, I was blown away. It was love at first sight. For some reason, it was just I felt at home. It was just so weird. I just love that it was just the opportunities to do things was just limitless. So many different types of people just walking the streets, always something going on. We stayed there for maybe 4 or 5 days, and it was just magical. It was my first time going to TRL. Just to give you a context of how long ago this was, I went to 106 in Park when AJ and Free was hosting it. The guest on that show that day was Cassidy. Yes, the one who was like, "Girl, if you come to my hotel," featuring that awful, awful man. Ever since when I visited New York, I was like, I want to live here. And at the time, I was in Baton Rouge. I was living there. I lived there for 5 years. I was still going to LSU. But then I knew at some point that I wanted to live in New York some way, somehow. Because I knew, New York is expensive as fuck. Y'all already know that. Down the line, in 2008, I moved to Atlanta. I was in Atlanta for 5 years, from 2008 to 2013. When I was living in Atlanta, one of my homegirls, well, one of my ex-homegirls, she had the same goal as me to just always live in New York. And the reason why I moved from Atlanta to New York was in Atlanta, I just felt just stifled, creatively stifled. I just felt my life was just stagnant. I just wasn't happy. And then I really realized that when I was visiting one of my really good friends in New York, because I used to visit New York when I was in Atlanta all the time. And yeah, just seeing how my friend lived and just how he just welcomed me to meet all my other friends. If you're watching, you know who I'm talking about. I remember one day I was having so much fun in New York and I went back to Atlanta. I literally cried on the plane because I was just I'm just not happy in Atlanta. So my then homegirl, when I found out that she wanted to move to New York just as much as I did, we both were servers. We were just like, okay, you know what? We're gonna do it. And we did this at fall. It was in the fall of 2012, I want to say. But we were just like, we are going to do this. We're going to move in the summertime. We had the date set. So yeah, I took another job in Atlanta. I worked at Wells Fargo. Now let me tell you something about Wells Fargo. Terrible, terrible. You know what? It wasn't even just the fact that it was Wells Fargo. It was just working at a fucking bank as a teller. I worked as a teller from January to July. Every single paycheck I made until July, I put that in my savings account to move to New York. I have a whole story about working at Wells Fargo. I might save that for another video. Because being a teller, I really appreciate what they go through. Because it's basically dealing with people's food is different as to dealing with people's money. And people don't fuck around with their money, especially when you tell people that they can't withdraw their own money. I've had to do that. I've had people yell at me. Someone else has tried to cash a check that was on paper. It was just on paper. Nothing on the back of it. It looked like, someone printed it out from a computer, tried to cash it, and was like, oh, well, so-and-so told me I could cash this check. I wanted to push the button that calls security underneath the desk. I really did. I saved my money from January to July. I saved around, I want to say, maybe $4,000. Yeah, I went to New York with $4,000. We basically were trying to find an apartment. Finding an apartment in New York is just mad difficult, just super difficult. Like you need, like your credit score needs to be right. You need to have, the right income to do it. Like it was a whole mess. And I thought that when I was with my homegirl that would be easier, but it turns out it was even harder because we had some type of differences, and me and my homegirl, we're in the U-Haul. We get into a fight about other prior things that I probably won't say on here. Something that she told me was, you know what, I think we're friends out of just convenience. And after that, I think that's when she she hit the detonator on our friendship, like right then and right there. We get to New York, and since we didn't find an apartment prior, we moved to New York without anywhere to stay. We both had our separate situations. So I was staying with a friend who lived in the Upper East Side, and she was staying temporarily in a room that was in, like, I think Harlem or whatever. So we were just going back and forth still, but at this point I was just like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna find my own place, because that was the reason why it took me so long to move to New York, because I was just like, I need a roommate. But you know what? I was just like, let me try to find something on my own. So my friend graciously let me stay in her apartment while she was gone for the summer. This was in the Upper East Side. Luckily, with my tenacity, because you know what? I don't play. Like, I hate not having a job. The irony right now, I moved to New York and I found a job in 3 days. It was a nice place in Meatpacking, a Mexican restaurant. I'm sure if you know what I'm talking about if you looked at one of my previous videos. I just needed income coming in. So that was one check. Second, looking day after day for apartments and in your price range and in your budget. When you move to New York, just make sure you have at least maybe $4,000. Well, this was in 2013, so now you need to add maybe another 1,500 on top of that. Just make sure you have all your ducks in a row. So fast forward, and like mid-August gets here, and then my friend gets back, and then she gives me a very harsh but effective pep talk in finding a place, because I was ready to give up. And then when she said, Chris, you're not looking hard enough. You're not looking hard enough. I was just like, you know what? That, like, it lit a fire under my ass. What I did, I was just like, you know what? Instead of just trying to find a place easy, like, I looked up a broker. And when you look up a broker, like, you have to pay that little broker fee on top of it. So I was hoping not to use my entire $4,000 to put into an apartment, but yes, I found this apartment almost 7 years ago because of a broker. Like, they found me something that wasn't even on the market yet, and it was in my price range. It was in my price range. And it was so new that when I moved in and unpacking stuff, I had two white girls just come in and be like, oh, is this the place? I was like, yeah, and I got it. So yeah, like, ever since then, I stayed here because, I mean, a rent-controlled apartment, yes, definitely. It was an easy transition moving here. Like, I already had, like, my friends here already, so it didn't feel like I was, like, alone, because moving to a new city by yourself can be very lonely. So yeah, just once I moved here, like, I was just trying to find my groove. I was just like, oh fuck, how am I gonna remember all these, like, train lines and shit like that? I remember when I first moved here, and before my apartment, I was living in the Upper East Side. I ran into Ramona Singer on the train. She was sitting right next to me, and she asked me, is this going uptown or downtown? Now, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, why is she on the train right now? And why didn't she know this, since she's, like, a real housewife of New York? But I'm thinking some snooty white bitch like her, she doesn't catch the train. So I just told her, oh, I don't know, I just moved here. And then someone else like told her. But I was just like, wow, my second day here and I ran into Ramona Singer. 6 years later, like I know the train like the back of my hand. Super easy. You learn to hate Times Square like everyone else. You get mad at people walking slow as fuck. You learn to ignore things and not engage, especially on the train. Now, there's some train horror stories that, this crazy man was pleasuring himself on the train. You can run into shit like that. You can get kicked in the face by someone yelling, "It's showtime!" You know what? I missed the train now. Like, I'm just realizing, like, I haven't caught the train in 3 weeks because of this whole thing that's going on right now. I know my story has gone which and every which way, but this just goes to show that, it took a lot of tenacity to move to New York, just to say that. So I would say if you're trying to move somewhere, if you're trying to move to Manhattan, just make sure you have money in the bank. You do your research before you get here. Make sure you have a job, or make sure you get a job immediately. And yeah, I feel like that's all you need. You just need some tenacity because this city will chew you up and spit you out. Like, I've known people that moved here and moved right back. As regards for my friend who I moved here with, she had some bad luck. She moved here and then had to move back to Atlanta, and then she moved back up here, and I think she lives up here now. I've seen her on a couple of occasions. We're good now, but we're not friends anymore, but we respect each other and we're good. I really do think that some people are just in your life, just for a season, So it is what it is with that situation. So I know what you're thinking. It's cold. It's expensive. It's dirty. It's too many people. Well, maybe it's just not the city for you. For you. But I think I've just found the things that I love that just outweigh those cons. July 13th will be my 7th year anniversary. Apartment is great. I love my neighborhood. I might not enjoy the building and I might not enjoy the super. But I guess you just have to have some optimism when living in New York. I don't know, because when New York is good, it's good. Right now, it's surreal. It's sucks being the epicenter right now, but I promise you, I'm fine right now in these four walls as long as I stay safe and practice social distancing and being just responsible with what I'm doing. So yeah, there's that. Do I see myself moving? Not within the next 5 years, no. Would there be any city that I would move to outside of New York? I would say LA. LA is the mistress, New York is wifey. Because, I love that weather in LA. I love the vibe. But still, I still want home to be New York. If you have any questions about me living in New York, just put in the comments. I'll try to, answer them in my Instagram, or I can try to answer them in the next video if you have any questions. But yeah, that's my little moving to New York story, the short version, because I'm sure y'all don't want to be on here 40 minutes. I'll save that for Pop Roast. All right, so on the menu today for Tall Order, or Hot Topics, can we talk about Teddy Riley versus Babyface? Can we talk about that fucking disaster? I was looking forward to this. I was extremely disappointed. I was more so embarrassed. I was 2 drinks in and I was high off my good weed. Come on. I was ready. I am a 90s baby. I listened to most of those songs when I was in single digits. I was looking forward to it like everyone else. There were almost 500,000 people in the room looking forward to this. Mariah Carey and Adele were in the room. Damn. That's how I felt. That's how everyone felt. So what had happened was I get on live. I follow Babyface. He's not on there, but I see Teddy Riley was on there. So I follow him. He's on the live. 15 minutes pass, we don't see Babyface. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't expect this to start on time, so it's fine. I'm expecting it's supposed to start at 9. Whatever. I was expecting to be there till midnight. So you have Ted Riley, who's has a whole type of production going on. He has the auto-tune keys in front of him, a mic, a DJ, a hype man, maybe 3 other people working around. I kind of thought we were supposed to be social distancing. I don't know. After that, Babyface finally gets into the room. You know, he keeps it simple. It looks like he just went downstairs in his studio, like he had his little earpiece in, not even wireless, and it looked like all he had to do was just press play. Now, unfortunately, when the battle got started, there was just this annoying echo. I'm just like, oh no, oh no. So you know, like, hey, babyface, I love your work, I love your work. And then the shit was like when he started playing the music, it was just all going back and forth, sound terrible. But then when Babyface was playing everything, you could hear everything smooth, you could hear the bass, you could hear everything. And I was just like, oh yeah, this Bobby Brown song, yeah, don't be cruel. Like every little step I take, like I was excited, but still, you have 15,000 comments running down the screen saying echo, 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 fix the sound, fix the sound. What is this? No. Finally, like they finally looked at it. At first, I thought Babyface was the problem because maybe he had to take his earpiece out, or maybe he had a mic or something. But I guess all the sound gurus in the chat was like, "Oh, that's Teddy Riley with all his like production and shit like that." So they had to pause it. They started over. I mean, we were only 3 songs in, but still, like they should have just kept it moving. So then, when the second time, the echo wasn't bad, but then like the sound quality wasn't good. Like honestly, honestly, simple. Simple was the word of the evening. It could have just been simple. Like, what even got me on the whole versus thing was the T-Pain and Lil Jon battle. Like, I enjoyed that. I was just like, okay, if they can recreate this and with 2 legends, yes. But no, and I don't think it was Babyface's fault. Maybe it was Teddy Riley's fault. And he was already creating problems in the beginning about maybe like allegedly charging for it. But yeah, it was a disappointment. Swiss Beats was just yelling, stop, stop, stop. Tyrese said threw in the tile, Tile. Teddy Riley, it was just embarrassing. It was just so embarrassing. You had 2 masters of sound with sound problems. I was so disappointed. So I'm guessing they're going to do it at a later date. That was just very disappointing. Like I kind of even don't want it to happen anymore, honestly. Teddy Riley was then roasted on Twitter for, as he should be. The memes just made themselves. Like people were just quick with it. The winner of the night though was Toni Braxton. Like she was, I thought she was hacked the way she was going off. I think the problem was like Toni Braxton was expecting like a jump in streams because when we hear like Babyface, you know, he curated her entire, almost, well, the better part of her discography. So I'm thinking she was expecting some sales and some streams and stuff like that. She was roasting Teddy Riley. She was just like, what is this? If it's still up, go to Toni Braxton's Twitter. You just have to see it. Tim and Swizz, like they both were talking about it. They were just saying that it just could have just been something simple. The joy of what the previous versus battles did was just simple and we enjoyed it. Like I feel like we didn't need all the production on Teddy's side. So I think he's getting the blunt of the backlash. Like Babyface is sitting over here chilling. He was cool. Babyface did not survive the Rona to like come downstairs in his studio and deal with this. This was just so embarrassing. And maybe they'll get it together. Maybe they won't. So that's the end of the menu for Hot Topics. I think that one topic sufficed. If you haven't watched Pop Roast, go watch it. We released it yesterday. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. I am CDiggy1 on all platforms. I am going through the monetization process, y'all. Thank you so much for the donations and the support. But yeah, if you still want to donate, I'm not going to stop you. So yeah, it's down there, my PayPal, my Cash App, and my Venmo. I will see you for the Insecure review tomorrow. Comes on tonight. Can't wait to see it. And then get ready for the cocktail I'm going to make. So yeah, I will see you soon.